Okay, so you just got your 21-day fix, and I want to walk through the meal plan. When I first got this, I was quite overwhelmed at what to do. Well, first of all, I looked at these containers and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to starve to death. And let me reassure you that you are not. That it doesn't look like a ton of food when you put it in the container, but if you'll always dump it out on a plate, you'll start to see what the portion sizes actually look like. And I'll tell you, honestly, I don't measure by containers very often anymore, but that's because I got used to, I eat a lot of the same foods and I know what it looks like on my plate or in my bowls that I use. So I'm gonna encourage you, when you're measuring things out, if you're measuring out rice or whatever, dump it out so that you can see what that looks like. The other thing that it just seemed really overwhelming to track it all. So I'm going to walk through that with you. Hopefully you've looked through your book. You found, I believe it's on page 4, the calculations so that you can figure out how many calories you need. That, of course, part C takes into account that you're aiming to lose weight. So if you're aiming to maintain and just to build muscle, then you don't need to take that extra 750 off. And then you're going to take it to page 19, where it'll tell you on that chart how many, you'll look at your calories and it will tell you how many of each containers you'll get. One thing that I've done is I eat a lot of the same foods. I'm just kind of a creature of habit. And when I'm grocery shopping for the week, it saves me money to fix one lunch, eat the same thing for lunch every day. And so that kind of helps me to figure out for the week, okay, I'm going to have a red, a green, and a purple, and a yellow at lunch, and then I know what I'm left over with for dinner. My days don't always look exactly the same, especially the blue, the yellow, or the blue, the orange, and the teaspoons. I will shift around depending on what I'm having. If I'm having a salad for dinner, I'll save my orange because that's my salad dressing. For dinner, if I'm having it for lunch, it'll go there. If I'm having avocado, that's what generally goes in my blues because I don't eat cheese. So just depending on what meal that fits with better is where I put that. So when I kind of have a system for, I know what, my breakfast is generally my shake, whether I drink it in the morning or push that later in the day. But I know that that's just going to cost me a red. I've heard Autumn say, and I am sticking to this, that if you're just using about 8 ounces of almond milk, unsweet almond milk, that you don't have to count it as a yellow. So I don't, because I love my yellows. I want to save those. And so I just kind of sit down and do a meal plan for the week. And I'm going to be sharing with you my ebook. I don't know if you'll be able to see it here, but there is a meal planning sheet in there that will help you to kind of do some preparation. There's also a meal tracker. I don't know if you can see that, but where you can write what you're eating and then kind of keep a tally mark of how many reds you've had for the day, how many greens. This is going to seem a little like a lot of work at the beginning, but I promise you it's going to get easier. After that first week or two, this should really just become second nature. The other thing I'd encourage you is to track it on a sheet like that, or there's also an app that you can use where you can go back and look at what you've eaten previously. So for a long time I kept those sheets, and when I was meal planning for the next week, I could look back and go, oh, I haven't eaten that in a while, and I know that's going to cost me a red, a green, a teaspoon, and a blue. And so, yeah, some of the harder parts about it are the recipes. And so a couple things. One, I'm going to send you, and I think I have it on here as well. I'm going to send you, there's a link to some of the Fixate. I think there's about 10 Fixate recipes. Fixate is the cookbook that you actually can get through your Beachbody site that basically breaks it down. This is one I make a lot, the creamy chicken salad wrap, and it'll tell you how many of each container. So if at any point you need a new recipe, but you don't need that to get started. The other thing I would encourage you to do if you're struggling with what to eat is go to Pinterest and search 21-day fix and your calorie bracket, and there are tons of ideas there, so that will help as well. When I was starting, I did a lot more simple things, not so many recipes, but like I can make, and I still do a lot of this, I can make spaghetti for my family. I make some zoodles with zucchini for me. I know that I can measure my zoodles in the green, and I can measure my meat sauce or my meat, and the sauce is actually a purple because of the sugar. And I know what that's going to be for me. I'll add in, if I have a yellow left for the day, I'll add in some noodles in addition to the zoodles. I do a lot of, like, I love shredded chicken with sweet potato and coconut oil, which sounds weird, but I promise it's really good. So a lot of those things where I can piece together and know exactly what I'm getting. Salads are really easy this way because you can do like 2 greens. I'll usually fill the first one packet full with my lettuce, and then I can chop up some green peppers and whatever else I'm putting on there, cauliflower or broccoli or whatever, and do a second green of it. I can add a red of some chicken on top of it. I can do my dressing and my orange, which I'll warn you, the oranges, the lids on all these will leak if you I wouldn't travel with them like this, because they actually, if you have liquid in them, they will leak out. And then I can add if I'm putting a fruit in, I can do a purple. So I just kind of piece my meals together that way. One tip on recipes: it takes a little bit of time the first time that you're cooking something with these containers, but if you'll take the time up front as you're cooking to actually measure things into this, or if you know that it calls for 1 cup of whatever, this is 1 cup, so you don't have to put it in here as well. But I will just keep a total count on my recipe, and I wish I had grabbed one to show you. But like if I put in 3 cups of vegetables, I'll put 3 greens. If I add in a pound of meat, I'll actually measure it into this after I've cooked it and add it in, and I'll know that there are 4 reds. And then I can divide out, once I have the total of everything that went into the recipe, I can say, this makes about 4 servings. So if I eat about a fourth of this, I'm going to get a 1/4 of each of those containers. So I hope that makes sense. But that has helped a lot, and I mark that on my recipe so that the next time I don't make that recipe, I don't have to think through that. And on some things, when you're eating out, you're just going to have to make your best guess. Look at it and kind of figure out how much protein you think it has, how much vegetable, and I can help you if you get stumped on that. But I hope this helps in getting started. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I promise you, you just have to dive in with it. It will get so much easier as you go, but don't hesitate to ask questions in the meantime. We'll talk soon.